Hello and welcome to Adventure Bike TV. Now this month we've hit a fairly major milestone. We've now got 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you very much to every single one of our regular viewers. But now, as always, it's time for the bike review. I think this is the very first time that I've actually not known what bike it is I'm going to test on Adventure Bike TV. And I'm really quite excited about it because we've come to this fabulous location. There's lots of trails, lots of trees, really forested. And I'm kind of thinking, maybe Tom's pulled out the stops here and done something really clever with an off-road bike. Maybe like Chris Cork's Dakar bike, or I don't know, some super duper tricked up Africa Twin. Well, that'd be very cool. Maybe even any kind of trail or enduro bike. It'd just be fabulous around here. And I was a little bit excited about it last night. I was kind of, not that I ever have problems sleeping, but I was properly excited. So I guess the big reveal now. So please take away the car and show me the bike. Seriously? I know, any bike's an adventure bike. I know the C90 is a bike we were going to have to do on a test at some point. But why put me in all this adventure gear and everything? G-Reg, nice. My mountain bike's got bigger tyres than that. I'm too big for this bike, too big for it. I've got to be looking utterly ridiculous on this. I know, it goes around the world. You know, Ed March is doing his 30 million kilometres in 20 years, ride and everything else. I know. Thanks, Tom. Thanks a bunch. So, what can you say about the Honda C90? Reminds me of the bikes my gran used to ride, hence the granny step-through name, of course. But in all seriousness, is there any motorcycling enthusiast who does not know that in its various engine sizes from 49 to 109cc and in continuous manufacture since 1958, it is the world's best-selling motorbike? In fact, it is the world's best-selling motor vehicle, bar none. If you don't know, you've probably had your head buried well and truly in the sand. But how many have Honda actually made? Not 10 million, not 25 million, not even 50 million. They have made 87 million by 2014. If you strung them all out end to end, you'd reach almost halfway to the moon, or nearly 4 times around the world if you're not of the space-faring inclination. This is not a bike built for speed. You'll be lucky to get over 40 on it. You won't slow down too quickly either. It's got drum brakes front and rear, and that leading link front suspension can get a little bit dicey on slippery surfaces, but remember that this was built as a commuter bike and it should be ridden just like one, nice and easy. Then the full-size wheels and suspension will give you a really rather comfy ride. Now, whether you choose to ride one for tens or even thousands of adventure miles will be a matter of personal taste and probably wallet capacity. There is no doubting it will get you from A to however far B is on the meagerest of budgets. How much might you have to pay for one? Well, I just took a look on eBay and I didn't see anything for under 850 quid. So There's your answer.
As you can see, I've changed out of my adventure gear into something that will make me look slightly less ridiculous on this bike, but no matter what I do, I'm always going to look ridiculous on this bike. But I guess the point is, we've got to test out whether this bike really can do, apart from speed of course, all the things that the adventure bikes can do. And for that, Tom the producer has set me a series of challenges. And that starts with starting it, because of course it's a kickstart, not electric. And he was sniggering when he told me about starting this bike. I've no idea why. No problem at all. I think I should call this challenge the Grassy Slope Challenge. And it may not look particularly difficult because the hill isn't huge, but it is really, really wet, slippery, mucky grass. And you can't get a straight run up at it because it's got a kink at the bottom. So even on a big adventure bike, I think with knobbly tyres, it would still be a bit of a challenge. But I need to see how the C90 will do. I'm going to try and get as much of a run up as I can. Well, there's not much space for it. Hey. There we go. And off. Of course, the ease with which the motorcycle floated up that slippery, grassy slope was nothing to do, of course, with its light off-road abilities. It's to do with my superb off-road riding skills. Next challenge is somewhat steeper, a lot muddier, still fairly short, but I haven't been up there yet, but I have been warned that the bigger challenge in this is actually stopping at the top. So here we go. Or not, as the case may be. Hey! Hey! I can see what Tom was saying. This is, yeah. I wouldn't want to try going down that on a mountain bike, never mind a big adventure bike. Which is kind of the point here. So, if I was on a big adventure bike, can't go forwards, back, you could kind of roll back I suppose, but on the C90, so much easier. Turn it round and off you go. This challenge is the tight trail challenge. So I've got to turn the bike around in its own length space, as if I was on a tight trail and don't want to do a sort of 35-point manoeuvre. Now, easy enough to do if you're on an enduro bike, and if you're Simon Pavey, you can do it on a big adventure bike. But Tom says I'm not allowed to pull wheelies on it like I was doing a minute ago, so I've got to try and do it properly. So here we go. I win!
Not really, you're not facing the other way.
Right, you can't actually see me now, but the next challenge given to me by Tom the producer is a water challenge. It's a fairly long bit of water, probably not too deep, but I am wondering how well this bike will cope with it because the engine and the carb and everything are right down at the bottom and at the front. First thing I noticed about going through that water puddle is I am almost completely dry. If I'd done that on a venture bike, I'll be soaked below the knee. Strictly speaking, this isn't one of Tom's challenges or tests that he set me, but this bike is so light and so small, it's very easy to do this. Hey! Just like that. Right, well, the next challenge on the list is a soft sand challenge. So obviously representing when I take this kind of bike through the Sahara or Mojave or some other kind of similar desert. So off we go. This was working a minute ago. Tom! Tom, there's a problem! It is on, it is on, choke's on. I'm doing exactly what I was doing before. That's not even sparking.
You've broken it.
I haven't done anything to it. You made me go through the water, that's what it was.
No, it's the fact that you've been pissing around playing on the roads for about an hour while we got the camera gear ready. Probably out of petrol, is it?
No.
Okay, so let's get it sorted then, shall we?
Well, back to square one.
Graham, why did you break the bike, Graham?
That's harsh, unfair and untrue. I didn't break it, it just stopped working after we were doing the water challenge. So I think it makes an important thing about these bikes is they're old and they are supposedly easy to fix, but when you're on time constraints as we are now, it's a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, we have had to admit defeat with this bike this afternoon. We've spent a couple of hours scrabbling around in the dirt trying to get it fixed, and whatever we do, we just can't get it sorted out in the time. And it's a real shame because this morning I was riding it quite a bit, getting used to it before we started filming, and we didn't capture any of it on camera, but there you go, it's just one of those things. But I have done enough riding to draw a conclusion, and there is no doubt that this is a bike that you could do a round the world trip on. There's enough footage and stories and books and people who've done it, so I can't dispute that. And actually this morning I had a real hoot on it, whether it was doing donuts in the middle of the car park, whether it was riding up the hills, through the puddles, and to a degree riding on the roads. I really did have a hoot. However, it doesn't give me the kind of buzz I want if I'm riding a bike, and if I was going to be riding a bike for a week's trip, a month's trip, a year's trip, this wouldn't give me the buzz I need. So it would not be the bike for me on a round the world adventure. Now, Tom has just said to me that I didn't answer the question, would I have one of these in my garage? And it's a slightly difficult question because, you know, there's a lot of love for these bikes. It's a huge pedigree. It's the best selling bike in the world. And undoubtedly, you can do an adventure on it. However, would I have this particular bike in my garage? This bike that has broken down on us 3 or 4 times today, that no matter what we do, we can't get it working? This particular bike? No, it's a pile of crap. Well, in some respects, a slightly disappointing end to our bike review because we didn't get to do the whole thing, but please be rest assured we will be coming back and we will be finishing the review of the C90. And I would like to assure every single one of our viewers that no C90s were hurt or injured in the making of this program. Now it's time for you guys out there to win something. It's time for Top Tech.
Hi, I'm Dawn and welcome to this month's Top Tech. On this month's Top Tech, we have the Light My Fire knife with integrated fire steel. So the knife comes with an ABS plastic sheath, which has a drain hole in the bottom, so if you do get it wet, the water's just going to go straight through. And you've got a belt clip on the side so you can mount it onto your belt if you so wish. The blade is stainless steel and made in Sweden, and the handle has a high friction anti-slip rubber. So let's have a look at the knife. You have a half tang blade, so half of the length of the blade is inside the handle, which makes your knife much stronger, much sturdier, doesn't flex, and it's perfect for whittling. What makes this knife truly different is the built-in fire steel. Just give the top of the handle a click and a twist and pull it out. This fire steel is replaceable for when you've used it. Just pop it back in, push it down and give it a click, and it's back in place again. So, quick lesson on how to start a fire. Get a nice dry piece of wood, get a good base, hold on to your knife and just push down. Nice sharp blade to get your shavings. Using your built-in fire steel, just make sure that you've got everything in place to keep your fire going ready. Grab yourself some dry tinder, a few leaves, so that once you've got your fire started, you don't have to run off and get some bits and it goes out. So now I'm going to show you how to create the spark. It's really easy. You just click, take your fire steel out. We're not going to do a real fire because we're indoors, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is. Grab your knife, turn the blade over, point it downwards, and just push the blade, the back of the blade against the fire steel. And there's your spark. Nice and easy. As always, you can win this month's Top Tech by answering this question. Is the blade made from A, ceramic, B, copper, C, stainless steel, or D, Lego? All you have to do is go to the Adventure Bike TV website and click on the competition link. Thanks for watching this month's Top Tech. I'm Dawn from Cotswold Outdoor. See you next month.
Please don't forget that you've got to be over 18 to win this month's Top Tech. Now, despite me not being able to finish off my fun and games on the Honda C90, I did get to go out and have a fabulous play with a whole bunch of new KTMs.
One of the many great things that is wonderful about working at Adventure Bike TV is the incredible diversity of big and small adventure bikes that we get to test ride. So we couldn't turn down the opportunity to visit the A.D. Smith Off-Road School in North Wales when KTM invited us to test ride their latest range of EXC Enduro bikes. The launch of these KTM bikes is quite a big deal for KTM because it's the first time in about 4 or 5 years they've completely changed the whole EXC range. So they're 90% new components, new chassis, new engines. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on these bikes.
There's the way around it. Yes.
Chris Kyle, I'm a professional BMX rider and I'm from Glasgow in Scotland. Yeah, I've came in here a total novice to this, but it's a rad opportunity and I'm going to try and work my way through these big bikes and hopefully end up on something bigger by the end of it.
So I'm Matt Jones, freestyle mountain biker, and I come from Milton Keynes today. No, I've ridden an SX a few times, but as we've got the whole range here, it would be cool to actually use some of the other bikes today and see what they're all about.
After a morning of practice of technique and putting it into practice through gullies, riding along steep hillsides, down slopes, up slopes, this afternoon is going to be spending less time being taught those techniques and more just going out, riding over the hills, over the mountains and enjoying what we've learnt this morning. There are plenty of people out there who would argue that enduro bikes are not adventure bikes, but just like the Honda C90, any bike is an adventure bike. And there are plenty of people out there who are now using the enduro bikes for going off and doing adventures. And if you think about it, that's exactly the market that the CCM GP450 is aimed at. Now, if you've done any adventures and filmed them on an enduro bike, then please do let us know. Now, it's time for a break.
We at the Adventure Bike Shop have used our experience from our own halfway round the world and back travels. To put together a range of products that we think are top quality, will last you a trip. Brands we know and trust, products we've used ourselves. Dull products and what am I going to say? Welcome to the Adventure Bike Shop. This is now getting good.
Welcome back from the break. Now it's time for Under the Visor, and we've got something just a little bit different for you this month. It's a couple who have written a children's book about adventure motorcycling.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
Hi guys, I'm Mia and we're here today reading my best brother Ollie, Mimi and Moto. Hello, my name is Ollie and I'm 5 and I like the Formula 1 and motorbikes. I like Ducatis, don't I? I like Ducatis. I have no idea. Kawasaki? I really don't know. A Blu-ray one? I don't know that one. I just made it up.
My name is Mark Augustin.
My name is Nancy Gerloff.
We are married. And that's our daughter, Mia. Say hi, Mia.
Hi. The Adventures of Mimi and Moto, the Motorcycle Monkeys. This is Mimi and Moto, the monkeys who love motorcycles. Sometimes they ride motorcycles in the dirt. Cool. I know it is. They're both really cool.
Yes, we both ride. We both ride, let's see, I've been riding since 2004. And let's see, when Nancy moved here to the States, she was getting on my bike. At the time I had a KTM 950 Adventure, so she was getting on and we were going 2-up. And I don't know how long it took for her to get tired of going 2-up, and eventually she got her license and she started riding as well. What year was that? 2011?
Same year I came to the United States, so I got quickly tired of riding in the back.
Sometimes they ride motorcycles on the street. They are. Look, cactuses. They look really sharp. Sometimes they ride motorcycles through the mountains. Sometimes they ride motorcycles to the beach. Wow. If they get their swimming trunks and bathers. Yeah. They can go to the beach and swim.
What had happened when we were potty training her, we're both members of the American Motorcycle Association, so every month we get the monthly magazine, which is the American Motorcyclist. So when we started potty training, Mia, because we're both members, we'd always get 2 copies of the magazine, and inevitably 1 copy of the magazine always ended up in the bathroom with her, where she would identify motorcycles. We would just flip through it and she would say, oh, that's a motorcycle, that's a motorcycle, that's a motorcycle. So I think when we were up at the cabin, we started just chatting a little bit. We did a little bit of research, and there's certainly motorcycle books out there for young kids, but we didn't see anything that we really liked. And we certainly didn't see anything that we thought appealed to children, you know, in that very early age, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it was pretty much, that was it. We both kind of looked at each other, thought it would be kind of a fun project to do together. Obviously, we both have our own careers and work, and Nancy seemed to be pretty agreeable with it, and she was a motorcycle rider as well. And it was really that conversation at the cabin in September of 2015 that kind of got the ball rolling. And again, it was really inspired by her just wanting to have a good little children's motorcycle book that we just really couldn't find ourselves.
Moto likes to ride when it is dirty and muddy. I like Moto. He's at the end of the race. Finish. Mimi likes to ride when it is warm and sunny. She's really cool.
Why monkeys?
So this is an easy one. So children are very prone to, you know, they like animals. They like animals with fur. They like animals when they have long tails, and they're, you know, very expressive because they have these large eyes. So children are just naturally drawn to characters which have, you know, large eyes and are cute, and everybody knows what a monkey is. It's easy to find out what a monkey is. So if a child, you know, there was a long, you know, discussion between us, what should we do as a character? And mouse is already occupied, right? The mouse is done. We can't use the mouse, so we thought about bunnies, and it's just so, you know, natural that the long arms and the long tail, and it just looks cool. So I think it was pretty quickly we thought monkeys would be good with little people, especially that age group. I think it's very appealing creatures.
From the standpoint that the word monkeys begins with M, and motorcycle monkeys, and then when we started playing around with the names, Mimi actually was what Mia used to call herself as a little baby before she could actually say Mia. So we knew we wanted Mimi for the girl, and then we had kind of fished around on some other names for the boy, and it just seemed like it was a no-brainer when we kind of came up with Mimi and Moto. It rolled off the tongue pretty well. Okay, hold on one second. So that was kind of the decision. I think it just made a lot of sense once we started talking monkeys, and we came up with the name and the motorcycle monkeys. So there's a lot of M's there, and it was pretty simple. We didn't really want to. We certainly, again, like Nancy said, wanted to try to come up with an animal that kids would gravitate to, you know, anywhere. And I think it's pretty obvious that kids love monkeys, especially ones that ride motorcycles.
Mimi and Moto always wear helmets with boots and gloves that match.
You know, I know one time I got an email from someone at some point very early in the process, and they actually asked what were we trying to communicate through the book. And I remember going through the process of trying to come up with an answer, and it was in coming up with that answer, it actually worked out very well, because we had a chance to kind of review what we had done in the book and see what those lessons were. Clearly, you know, we wanted to, we certainly hope the book becomes something that motorcycle families and other families as well, we want it to be one of the first books that they introduce to their children. So we certainly wanted, as with anything, you want kids to look at it and feel like it's fun. And if it's fun, you've got, you know, that's half the battle right there, is just convincing them that it's fun. So again, yes, so certainly we wanted to communicate that motorcycles are fun, and we knew that if we did a book where kids got into it with their parents, they would see that motorcycling is fun. We certainly wanted to communicate to parents and obviously to kids that there's a lot of different kinds of motorcycles. We did not want the book, especially this first one, to alienate any segments of the motorcycle community. We really wanted just about every type of motorcycle rider out there to be able to flip through the book and see something that they could connect with, whether it was dirt bikes, whether it was, you know, riding two up in the mountains, whether it was on this, you know, more chopper style cruisers, whether it was on sport bikes. So we wanted to communicate that there's a lot of different kinds of motorcycles out there. Certainly safety, without a doubt. You know, I don't think there's any parent out there that if their child does get into motorcycles, they want the child to be safe. So that was obviously very important to communicate that message. And then the other thing too, I thought that was really important to us, was that boys and girls ride. We did not want the book to be anything that, you know, we didn't want it to be all boys, we didn't want it to be all girls, and we certainly want kids to understand that that everybody rides.
When they ride motorcycles with their friends, they are very hard to catch. I bet they are. For all that practicing.
And then we realized, well, we really need an illustrator, so we advertised, you know, in online to find a Saban, and he was very helpful because he had experience with children's books. He's very, very gifted as an illustrator, and he pointed us to things which were important to little people, and he helped along the process a lot. Not only, you know, telling us how the process works, because we were totally new to this. He helped us with, we first developed the characters, and after we developed the characters, we developed the storyboard. It's almost like a movie where you have little drawings of the actual spreads, which later become pages, and he just comes up with ideas and he sends it to us, and it's a constant process where we send him back feedback. He changes things, and everything is done in pencil. So later, very late, you actually agree to how should this page look like, and then you say yes, go forward, and then he really puts it into a digital format. So it's very long, the process between us and him, to figure out each little detail, because he didn't know anything about riding per se, so he didn't know how the bike would lean, but the person still would look in another direction. So we had to show him and visualize for him how does this look, and also for you know, you mentioned the aspect of girls ride and boys ride. We didn't want the girls every page to be in pink. That was my biggest thing, was don't put them in pink, please. Make it so it's realistic, because I don't see a lot of pink out there. If I see a woman rider, there is, you know, there is no pink motorcycle, there are no, you know, not everything is pink. So even women are not always drawn to that color. So I wanted it to be a little bit more diverse, and then we, you know, we learned a lot from him.
Who knows what could happen? Most of all, Mimi and Moto love to ride together.
I think for me personally, I'm not sure, you know, maybe Nancy would answer the question differently. You know, I see it as, you know, obviously a great tool for parents and grandparents and whatnot. I think also too, I really would love to see it, you know, as it develops, becoming something that helps to grow motorcycling in general. You know, clearly in order to have adults who are into motorcycling and want to go out and buy motorcycles and go to motorcycle races and become a part of that whole scene, the sooner you get kids involved in it, I think the more you can grow the industry. I think there's a lot of, you know, I'll be very curious personally to kind of see how the book fits into that world as far as its reception in the industry and as a tool really to grow the sport. I don't think, again, I think that to me would be a really nice bonus to know that through Mimi and Moto, we're actually helping to grow motorcycling across the world.
When they go to sleep, Mimi and Moto dream of motorcycles adventures forever and ever. The end. Forever. Forever.
Right now, we have the book available on Amazon.com. We do have the book also available on Amazon.ca for those people in Canada. We are certainly, you know, working to try to have the hardcover available over in the UK and Europe. But I would say right now, for a lot of your viewers and fans of your show, probably the easiest way to get their hands on the book is to actually come to our website, which is mimiandmoto.com. And you can sign up for a lifetime membership, which gives you digital access to the book for smartphones, for tablets, for computers. So certainly, I think from the standpoint of somebody that can't get a hold of the physical book at the moment, we would certainly direct them to visit our website and become a member there. And again, you can, as long as you can get online, you can get access to the book, and it appears exactly the way it appears in the hardcover book. And then certainly going forward, obviously, we definitely want to keep working hard. Like I said, we just got it up on Amazon earlier this month, so we're just a little bit focused on making sure that's available for people here in the States and Canada. But for anybody internationally, we would love for them to become members and get the digital book. And then, like I said, as soon as we can, we're making it available more and more via hardcover.
What do you think Moto's voice sounds like when he's a monkey? This. I'm Moto! I think he sounds like. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, stop. Ah, ah, ah. I want a banana. What do you think Mimi sounds like, Ollie? I'm Mimi. I think she still sounds like this. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, my banana, where's it gone? Oh.
Do you, Nancy?
Absolutely not, no. I don't know, no. I normally, you know, I'm not good at voices. I think men are better at voices.
I can't say that. I can't say that I have any, I don't know what their voices would necessarily sound like. I don't think that they're our voices. But you know, I tell you what, it's a great question, and I hope that we certainly have a an opportunity to have to figure out what their voices should sound like.
Graham, he likes motorbikes, so he might like that. I think Danny, my best friend Emily, will like it. No, I think she maybe won't. Maya. She won't. I know she won't. I think she will. I think Oscar will like it. Who's Oscar? Oscar, my friend. Tell the camera. I already did. Yes. I like Mimi and Moto.
Very good. Fist bump. Oh, you missed. High five. Wow.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
Well, I think that would make an absolutely fabulous stocking filler for Christmas. Unfortunately, there's no Slimbo this month, as we are working through so many suggestions from all our viewers as to what would be utterly superlative. Instead, we're going to walk you through Adventure Bike TV's People's Awards.
Last year, we ran the first ever Adventure Bike TV's People's Awards, and this year we will be having them again. However, there are just a few changes. Firstly, we will be announcing the winner in the January show, not December. And we have changed some of the categories and added a competition you can all enter. So for those that don't know, what are the People's Awards? Well, they are the only awards in the adventure motorcycling market which are voted for by you, the consumer. This year, we are including a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Adventure Bike TV team and a short film competition, which will be reviewed by a panel of judges. So, what can you vote for this year? Firstly, we have separated the best adventure bike into two categories. The first is for bikes 800cc and over. The second is for the new wave of smaller adventure bikes, unsurprisingly with engines under 800cc. We will also have the usual Most Inspiring Rider, Best Dealer Customer Service, Best Retailer Customer Service, Best Adventure Motorcycling Publication, including online, Best Adventure Clothing Manufacturer, Best Adventure Helmet, and Best Adventure Accessory Manufacturer. All of these can be voted for on the Adventure Bike TV website, with the closing date for voting the 10th of December. Now, on to the short film competition. Full information can be found on our website, but the basics of this. We are looking for short motorcycle travel films, no longer than 5 minutes in length. Anyone can enter with any kind of adventure. This competition is not about going to the most exotic locations or on the hardest route. It doesn't matter whether it's filmed on a red epic camera, whatever that is, or in the deepest Russia, or whether it's filmed on your phone in the UK. This competition is about how you tell a story in those 5 minutes. The better and most interesting story will win. You can film something new or edit something old. On the website, we will give you some links to music you can use for free and give you some tips about what we are looking for. The films will be voted for by a panel of experts, details of whom will also be announced online. Good luck to all the filmmakers and anyone up for an award.
So, do not forget to go online and vote for the awards. Now it's time for the travel journal. We get sent lots and lots of movies from our viewers. Now some of those are great stories, but the quality isn't quite what we need to go online. Or sometimes we get great quality but it doesn't tell a good enough story. This bunch of guys have created a series for us, and they do both.
Well, we've woken up in Falls Church, Washington at the Best Western here on Arlington Boulevard, and it's chucking it down, as you can probably see. And so we booked a Segway tour this morning, so we've kind of decided we're going to do it anyway regardless. We're wearing all our waterproof gear for the bike. We're going to go and do that. I think it's a 3-hour trip, see the sights, and go and have lunch and a bar and just have a great time today.
People said it was smaller than you thought or seen on the movies or TV, but actually I think it's about the right size as far as I'm concerned. It's awesome.
How fantastic. The Segways were incredible. We managed to get around all the major sites and see what was going on. Stop saying rhubarb. So we got around to see all of the sites that we could possibly do in one day. We didn't get to go into some of the museums that would have been nice, but it was superb despite the rain, and we're just now planning, because tomorrow morning we're off early to pick up the bikes. This is the start of the trip really tomorrow. We're going to pick up the bikes and head on east out to Ocean City.
I know what they're going to be going through. And I know some of the things that they feel right now, which is a little bit of nervousness because they haven't done it before. But you know, I just know that they're going to have the most wonderful time, because each place you stop's different, every road's different, every site is different. It's just absolutely amazing what can be done.
I'm overwhelmed. It's overwhelming. This is better than the show, for sure.
You're going to go through these towns where, you know, the houses could be, you know, kind of decrepited, but the people are just so nice. Some of the roads are just absolutely amazing. You know, with Route 66, it's a great ride. Route 66 is a good ride. You know, there's a lot of nostalgia built up with Route 66, and that's great. The thing with Route 50 is you're going coast to coast. It starts all the way in Ocean City, Maryland, which is right on the coast, and it goes clear across the center of the United States, you know, through the mid-plains, into the Rockies, through the Canyonlands, up into the high desert, into the Nevada Sierra Desert, and then you come down into California.
Happy?
Very happy. What you get with Route 50, it's all these experiences, not just, you know, the nostalgia, but you get all the experiences that the United States has to offer, and it's just absolutely amazing. I definitely want to come with you. If I didn't have the store here to run, I'd be right there with you.
So we picked up our bikes, and now we find out all the things that we were wondering about, like how much luggage space there is, which there isn't any of. I was really light with packing, and I found that I've got too much, and I've had to go with a dry bag on the back. And the power question as well, whereabouts we get power from, and it's exactly where they said it would be, and I haven't got a cable for it. So that'll be something to figure out. The bike is heavy, and I got a VFR 800, and this is not a VFR 800 at all. Really big arm movements, and I'm still getting nervous about going out on the road for the first time. Anyway, looking forward to the next few hours. They're going to tell us how good we are on the road.
We're packed up. It's taken a little bit of a while to get all of our stuff on the bikes. Do you know what? I did bring too much stuff. I'm glad I bought the straps to put things on the back of the bike. I'm glad I got my buddies who are taking lots of my stuff on their bikes. Thanks, guys. But that's it. We're packed. We're ready to rock. The traffic's not too bad. The weather's fine. Let's go.
I have my keys for my Indian motorcycle adventure.
We got very wet.
It's raining really hard and lightning.
I'm really tired. I think I know a song about that. Storms, I think, tomorrow afternoon.
It's a surprise.
My mum might watch this.
Okay, well, that was the show. I'd like to say a special thank you once again to every single one of our 10,000 plus YouTube subscribers, and of course to all our viewers. If you like the show, please share, and share, and we will see you next month.